Hello and welcome guys to the first of hopefully many videos on this channel with my face in it. Today we're talking about One Piece's Jaya arc for two reasons. The first reason is that One Piece, and especially the Jaya arc, is something I find very easy to talk about. So for the first video in front of a camera, which is pretty nerve-wracking, I want to choose something easy to talk about, so Jaya it is. The second reason we're talking about Jaya today is because of Ohara's One Piece theory video that took the internet by storm a few weeks ago. In that theory, Skypiea and Jaya play a massive role, so make sure you go check that out if you haven't already. I doubt you haven't. It has millions of views and it's fantastic. It truly does deserve that title. But without further ado, let's dive right into it. One Piece's Jaya arc. One of the things I love most in a story is when I can tell the author knows exactly what they're doing. When a story is concise, it's focused, they have a set list of things they want to accomplish and they go ahead and accomplish those things. When an author has that handle over their own story, that stuff really appeals to me. And I think when it comes to Oda and him having a handle over One Piece, Jaya is an arc that immediately comes to mind for its strengths in this department. It's an arc where Oda combines short-term and long-term storytelling to deliver something that I would consider to be the anchor of many things that follow it in pre-time skip. Without Jaya, we wouldn't be able to get the Paramount War arc and saga as it is. It introduces so many ideas, characters and plot lines that converge later on in the Paramount War saga. It introduces the idea of Shanks and Whitebeard having an interaction, with the scene where Rockstar is sent and we're introduced to Whitebeard. It introduces Dofi, Kuma, where they're having that whole meeting looking for the next Warlord candidate, and then we get Lafitte, who shows up and says, "Oh, Blackbeard is someone I want to suggest for this position," and then we later find out that Blackbeard is trying to hunt down Luffy and Ace, well not Ace, it ends up being Ace because of their confrontation, and that's how he becomes a warlord, which sets up Impel Down and how he frees everybody, gets Shiryu and his crew, and all of that stuff. It's all starting right here, and that's what I really love. So in this tiny arc of only 19 chapters over the course of 2 volumes, volumes 24 and 25, we get all of that. We get all of that whilst also delivering its own narrative. We get the story between Luffy and Bellamy, we get Cricket, his whole life story, we get the alliance, the what they call Saruyama Alliance, I think they're called. We get these two guys. I don't really remember much of them, they're pretty forgettable, but they're nice guys, We get a ton of stuff, man. We get a ton of stuff. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it from start to finish, the arc. We're going to talk about each event very lightly. We're not going to go too deep into this because it's not a crazy analysis or anything. But I'm going to tell you all the things I love about this arc and why I consider it to be a masterpiece. So let's start off with Robin. The arc opens up with Robin joining the crew. And what I love about this is the way it's handled really makes sense with later context. When we're looking at this in retrospect, after we get Water 7 and Enies Lobby, after we get her backstory, we look at things very differently, because the way she joins is so unexpected. It's like her reason for joining is, I wanted to die, you didn't let me die, so now you're stuck with me. You owe me because you didn't let me die. You saved my life, that's your fault, so you have to stay here. I have to join your crew because you didn't let me kill myself, or you didn't let me die under that rubble. You saved my life without me asking you to. Very interesting, but now with context it makes perfect sense why Robin would have even wanted to die. And the whole atmosphere in this scene, the whole vibe, it does paint Robin out to be someone that you can't really trust, right? And I like that. I really like that. She specializes in assassination. It's a comedy scene played for gags, but still it does make it harder for us to trust Robin than it is for any other Straw Hat, because the way she joins the crew is very unorthodox. It's unlike any other Straw Hat who's joined the crew. We usually get a backstory for them. We usually get a dynamic fleshed out between that said Straw Hat and members of the crew. Before Sanji joined the crew, he already had a good relationship with Luffy. Before Zoro joined, well, Zoro, the way he joined was just one of a kind. We can't really talk about that. But Chopper, everyone who's joined the crew, they have a little bond created with the crew before they join. Robin didn't really have that. She just rocked up and said, "Yo, I'm joining." So really like that. The next scene of the arc is up there as one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. Just the idea behind this scene is insane. I have to show you. A ship falling out of the sky, guys. This is as One Piece gets. This is like when someone when someone advertises One Piece, they're probably going to tell you it's like the adventure of a lifetime. It's a crazy adventure set in a bizarre, wacky world. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. And it's just perfect. It's honestly just perfect. I don't know what else to say. We don't get much of this in One Piece as much as I'd love to, but it's just unreal. Unreal. I can't really put into words what this makes me feel, because it's more of like a hype. It's like a hype thing that appeals to the little inner child in me, but it's just so cool. Just the idea, a ship falling out of the sky, guys, and the fact that this serves as the motivation for us to go to Sky Island. I love that, because usually in One Piece you'll notice that in most arcs, the arc is shaped by the plot. We usually get something where the Straw Hats are very reactionary. Something happens, they have to react to it, and then we get this arc, right? We get dragged into somebody else's business. But here, for the first time, I feel, not the first time maybe, but for one of the most iconic times of the series, we get very proactive decision making from the crew. We get Luffy saying, yo, there's a Sky Island up there? I want to go there, even if there might not be. He just wants to go there because of the prospect of an island in the sky. And I love that. I really love that. And that's possible because of this scene of the ship falling out of the sky. So I love this. After this, they go back, they go down on the water, try to search the ship, and they find a map of Skypiea, and that's it. They've made their mind up. They're going to Sky Island. But before they do that, they need to gather more information. How can we get up there? So what they do is they go to Jaya, Mock Town specifically. And this is a town ran by pirates. No officials, no marines, no government, no democracy. It's just, you know, it's just an island ran by pirates doing whatever the hell they want to. So obviously you can expect there to be some issues on this island. There's obviously going to be some drama on this island when you've got a crew like the Straw Hats showing up. 30 million berries on Luffy's head. Actually 100, but we'll talk about that later. So we show up on the island, but before we get there, there's this very ominous scene where a sniper takes out some seagulls. Birds, some type of birds. I think they're seagulls. I don't remember too clearly. Are they seagulls? I can't remember too clearly. You like my forehead, guys? Pretty big, right? Yeah, the guy shoots some seagulls, and we later find out that this is Van Orga. This is the sniper of the Blackbeard Pirates. We also get an ominous interaction with Doc Q, the doctor of the Blackbeard Pirates, and it's a scene where basically there's some poisonous apple stuff going on. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there's some very odd stuff going on. And there's all sorts of characters on this island, man. Luffy says so himself. There are all sorts of characters on this island, and it's quite unlike anywhere we've been in the past in One Piece. It's just mayhem. It's just whatever the fuck wants to happen happens on this island. So we get there, and Robin immediately goes, and she proves to us why she is worthy of being the crew's archaeologist, because she goes and looks for information and comes back with it like that. I love that. She goes, gets the information, comes back, and in that time, Luffy and Zoro are forced by Nami to promise that they will not get into any problems on this island. They won't fight anybody regardless of the circumstances, right? And this is very important. Very, very important. It's leading up to one of my favorite scenes in the entire story. And eventually they try to go to this hotel. They're not allowed in because a pirate captain by the name of Bellamy the Hyena has booked every room in this hotel. So they go to the bar to get some drinks, and we bump into who at the time we don't know is Blackbeard. This pirate, very odd behavior. He's a lot like Luffy. In many ways he is a lot like Luffy, but the difference between them is that Luffy thinks the drink is really good, Blackbeard thinks the drink tastes shit, but Luffy thinks the cake, I mean the pie, is bad, and Blackbeard thinks it's so good. So they're basically on opposite ends of the spectrum, and they're looking at each other and like, yo, stop disagreeing with me or I'm gonna fight you. And I love this about Luffy's character. It's so telling, especially when you look at what happens right after. What happens right after is that Luffy and Zoro get their shit beat out of them by Bellamy, and they do not retaliate. They made that promise to Nami, and it's obviously much more than that, but they don't retaliate. They don't retaliate to Bellamy. They let him kick their teeth in. But Luffy is willing to fight Blackbeard over the fact that he's not agreeing with his taste in food and drinks. So it tells you all you need to know about Luffy. He'll fight you if he wants to fight you. If he doesn't feel like you're worth it, he is not going to fight you. And that's exactly what Bellamy isn't. worth it. So we get this scene where it's just this fantastic callback to chapter 1 with Shanks and what's his name? Higuma? The bandit from Fuchsia Village. Chapter 1, Shanks gets drinks poured on him and he gets his teeth kicked in by these bandits, and we get one of the most important ideas in One Piece, right? You can do whatever the hell you want. You can do whatever the hell you want to me, but if you touch one of my friends, you're fucked. I'm not letting that slide. I'll be pissed if you touch one of my friends. And that's essentially what this arc explores to a much deeper extent, where Luffy doesn't do anything to Bellamy until later in the arc, where Bellamy disrespects and attacks Cricket. Once he hurts Cricket, who Luffy now considers his friend, that's it. Luffy shows him how to throw a punch. We'll get to that though. Before that, we'll focus on this scene. This scene is fantastic for a plethora of reasons. I could honestly sit here for hours talking about this single scene. We get this absolutely glorious spread right here. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is one of those spreads where it's like visual storytelling at its finest. You don't need anything more than this to understand what's going on here. You've got Luffy, the Dreamer, you've got Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, these three individuals who are looking for a Sky Island, and they are being laughed at like they are idiots. Like they just said the earth is flat. Right? That's what they're getting laughed at. They're getting laughed at. But you know what's actually very ironic about this scene? They're in the Grand Line. They literally just saw a giant fucking turtle. They saw these massive monsters in the cloud, which gets recontextualized in Skypiea. It's actually the shadow of the Skypians, but forget that. They see these massive monsters in the cloud. They see a massive turtle. A ship just fucking fell out of the sky, right? Oda opens up this arc by showing us millions of crazy out of this world things, and then they mention the idea that they could be a Sky Island, and they're laughed at by these skeptics who, I honestly don't know why they're skeptics. They live in the Grand Line. They should understand that shit like this is probably possible. Going to the sky, it's probably possible, but they're laughed at. They're laughed at by Bellamy and his crew, and it's just this fantastic scene where Luffy, who wants to be the Pirate King, is laughed at by Bellamy and his crew, and it's just this fantastic scene where Luffy's ideals are challenged. And this is what I mean when I said earlier that the theme of dreams and wonder are tied together to tell this one thematic message in this arc, right? The idea of Luffy dreaming and then the wonder of One Piece's world, they are combined for this message where Bellamy's being skeptic and Luffy's just being that dreamer, and I just love everything about it. But then we get to possibly the most iconic scene in the entire series. People's dreams never end, guys. Blackbeard's speech. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I feel like everybody said everything that needs to be said about this scene. I mean, there is so much to talk about when it comes to this moment, but I'll focus on the fact that we get this very, very cool scene here, right? Where Ace and Shanks, little flashbacks right before Blackbeard says to them, like, what, the age of pirate dreams is over, huh? Hey? We get this little, Luffy just remembers Ace and Shanks when he's looking at Blackbeard. And I think that's really cool because before we even find out who Blackbeard is, it's very obvious this guy's special. If he's making Luffy think of Ace and Shanks, this guy is special. So I like that a lot. And then we get the very ominous, it's not he, it's them. There's more than one, I think. It's not just one guy. Don't get me wrong, I think it's very, very possible they're just talking about the rest of his crew, because in literally the next page, we see the rest of his crew. We see Burgess and Doc Q, and that's probably what Luffy meant by there's more than one. But it's been a lot of theory fuel for years now, people suggesting that Blackbeard might have alter identities and extra personalities and all that, and I like that. Theory fuel in One Piece is never a bad thing. But we're on our way back to the ship now. We get to Cricket, we get the whole story of Nolan the Liar, and then we get another cool scene. Sanji tells us he's from the North Blue. This tiny little fact is introduced to us in Jaya, and it isn't revisited for another 600 to 700 chapters or something like that. Insane. Literally insane. It's not something explored into Whole Cake Island. Oda lays a crumb here and he doesn't touch it again for another 800 not 800, more like 600 chapters. I just, don't you find that crazy? How someone can be writing such a long story and still have the time to just drop these little seeds for things he wants to use later on. I find it absolutely astonishing, and it's definitely my favorite aspect of One Piece. That long-term thinking, that ability to tell a story over so many years. Unreal. But Bellamy comes and beats the shit out of Cricket, blah blah blah. There's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of amazing stuff that I'm skipping over because I want to focus on the final parts of the arc. But lots of stuff is going on here. Bellamy basically goes to Cricket and robs some treasure from him and beats the shit out of him, whilst Cricket is fixing up the ships for the Straw Hats, and whilst they're looking for a Southbird, which gets them. Well, it's a bird that always points south, and they need to go and catch the knock-up stream, so they need it for like navigation purposes. So they are trying to get this Southbird. Bellamy beats the shit out of Cricket. Bellamy goes back to the city. Luffy finds out and he's like, what the fuck? You guys beat the hell out of Cricket? Okay, now I'm not gonna stand around. Now it's time to fight. You hurt one of my friends, you're gonna get hurt. So Luffy makes his way back, and we got this one guy who's used as basically a hype tool for Luffy, and he's like, hold up a second. He basically gets Luffy's bounty, 100 mil bounty. We know about this bounty, Luffy doesn't. No one in the story knows about it, only we know about it because of Igaram at the end of Alabasta, who basically gets the new bounty poster. But 100 million berries, they're shook. He pulls up to the bar, he's like, 100 million bellies. Bellamy's like, nah, that's probably a fake they made to scare us. Look at that guy earlier on today in the bar. There's no way he's worth 100 million. If he was worth 100 million, he would have fought us, right? So, they don't believe it. They don't believe it. And then, I need to show you guys the spread more than anything, because this is it's just, you know, when a page just speaks for itself. Like, Wow. 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 Look at the flipping mark on his face. He got destroyed. Episode 151 of the One Piece anime is legendary. I had to quickly say that. It basically adapts all three of these chapters, 232, 233, and 234, and it ends off Jaya, and it's too good. I mean, we get the Gorosei introduced, we get Dofi and Kuma. Bro, we get so much in this arc. I just love it. Sorry about the notification there. But yeah, I don't even know what to say, because I'm essentially like taking in this arc through these little reread. While I open this page, while I open the volume, I'm looking at the page, and it's like so overwhelming how fucking good this shit is that I'm lost for words. But yeah, this arc is a masterpiece to me because of what I've said probably 50 times now. It's Oda's ability to tell a long-term narrative whilst also telling a short-term one. He's telling the story of Jaya, the story of Bellamy and Luffy and Cricket and whatever's going on this island, whilst also setting up Skypiea and also setting up Marineford and also giving us lore dumps, introducing Whitebeard, introducing Doflamingo, introducing Kuma, introducing the Gorosei, introducing Sengoku, getting this information about Whitebeard through Buggy and Ace's interaction. There is just so fucking much going on. This is like the most jam-packed 19 chapters of the series. There is so much going on in here. It's like the Reverie. The Reverie had chapters like this where every single week you're like, how can one man fit so much into just a single chapter every week? And it's just, it is fantastic stuff. Hopefully I explained good enough why I think Jaya is a masterpiece, but I do apologize if this video isn't up to quality, like what you'd expect from me, because I'm new to this. Talking into a camera, it is nerve-wracking. It's unlike anything I've done before, but I feel like I'm showing a lot more personality and you're getting more of me, more of Fiji, so we like that. We like that. We like that. We like personality. It's what distinguishes me from every other YouTube content creator or anime manga content creator. So that's what we're here for. We're here to make the best possible quality content whilst also showing a bit of my personality and hopefully getting this out here at a good time. I feel like I've been shitty with my production rate lately, but we're working on it. And I think this camera is really going to help, because editing these videos is so much easier than editing a video where I'm like having to put a manga panel on the screen every second. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I feel like I rambled a lot in this video. This is obviously entirely unscripted. I'm just sitting in front of the camera and talking. Please give me your feedback. Please be as harsh as you want with the criticisms. Tell me if you want to see something in the background. Tell me any ideas you might have to make these videos better, to make the content on this channel better. And yeah, that's about it. I feel like I'm done. I feel like I've spoken enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe for more, and peace.